Hello, everybody, and welcome back to GameStack Podcast. Once again, finally, after our 14-day hiatus. I like to say 14 because it makes it sound worse, and Shaline probably feels more guilty.
Stop! I'm sorry.
You are all here on this lovely Friday evening. If you're coming in and listening live, welcome. We love you. Thank you for listening. And if you're listening after the fact, welcome once again to the show. Thank you for subscribing and listening to us on whatever podcast platform you get your content. You're listening to episode 156, I Caught an Addiction. And that will all make sense later. But right here on GameStack Podcast and We Just Love Games Network, I'm your co-host Vendertron. Joining me this evening also is Shaline. Hello, Shaline.
Hello.
How are you?
I am. Uh, Therefore, I think.
Where have you been?
Um,
What happened?
well, I had a really bad headache a couple of Fridays ago.
Mm-hmm.
That a couple of days later, it just persisted, and then it sort of developed itself into a migraine that kept me out of work for 2 days. And
Not
it was
good.
a bad time. It was a
No.
real bad time.
Yeah.
And I've had persistent headaches for like 2 weeks now. Today I am headache free. Um,
Hey, that's
and then I
good.
had like bunch of stomach pain last week, which I think was from all the Excedrin I was taking to fight the headaches. But yeah, I've been not feeling well enough to be on air. So I apologize for that.
I am so
But
glad that you're still alive and still able to do a
yeah,
show with me because it wouldn't be the same if you weren't here to do a
it's
show
been a
with.
tough couple of weeks, Bender. It's been a
But
tough couple of
we
weeks.
are back and we're better than ever. Um, at least health wise now. um, yeah,
How about
yeah.
yourself?
It's been a busy 2 weeks. I'm frantically trying to get everything done for to meet the requirements of my PhD candidacy exam outcome, which is due at the end of August. So it's been very busy and dealing with a lot of family stuff. I've been helping my dad sell his truck privately, which is sold. They came and picked it up today. So
Nice.
the truck is gone. I am now truckless, which kind of sucks actually because it was very helpful and useful having a truck
Yeah,
with a
it's
box.
probably a little bit harder to haul very large things in a Mini Cooper.
Yeah, well, I did fit 800 pounds of play sand in my Mini
You
Cooper
did.
once. Yeah,
I
that was
was
a thing.
impressed.
Yeah, um, I haven't matched that feat, that experience yet. But yeah, we've got one heck of a show to do. So I would love to sit here and chat, with you about our weeks, but we really should get on with the show. Don't forget, we are sponsored by Oak and Crow Coffee. If you head on over to oakandcrow.com, you can pick up a bag of We Just Love Coffee blend, and $2 from every purchase of that blend goes to the Children's Miracle Network. Tell your friends about the show. Tune in live if you can on Fridays. We love to have a live chat going in the background as we're talking. I see a few people popping in already, Van Sylvan and Setsua and a bunch of others. Welcome, welcome. Happy Friday. And the Discord has been incredibly active. I see that we have some new channels, and the only reason I know we have new channels, Shaline, is because I keep getting notifications.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I should have probably mentioned that. I added a Baldur's Gate channel due to some popular demand. You know, Baldur's Gate is the big new thing right now. It's the new
Mm-hmm.
hotness,
Mm-hmm.
and the people needed a place to talk about it. So, yeah, we added a Baldur's Gate channel. Did I add anything else? I think just that one.
Just that. Except I'm very proud to say that I am now a frequent visitor of the Animal Crossing and the Zelda channels. So more on
One
that
of
later.
us, one
Yeah,
of
it's
us.
terrible. How can people join our Discord?
You can join our Discord by clicking the link on our Twitch page at twitch.tv/ We Just Love Games. That link is live whether or not the show is, so visit Twitch and check it out.
Excellent. Don't forget, we have a jam packed show this evening. We're going to talk about some news, some gameplay, the stocks over the last 2 weeks. It's also new releases month. We have a backlog of mail and screenshots, and I'm sure that both of okay, I'm scrolling through Shalene's gameplay in the show notes right now. It's like a full page. So, we have a lot to talk about. Let's hop right into it with this just in. Take it away, Shalene. Oh, wait, it's my turn. New releases. I forget every time. Sorry about that.
I forgive you.
Thank you to Joseph Tao for compiling the new releases for us every month and also helping us compile the news. I know that it's August 4th, but there is one game that you can already pick up that's out, and that is Baldur's Gate 3 on PC that released yesterday, August 3rd. On the 8th, you can pick up Gourd on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Tower of Fantasy on PS5. WrestleQuest, also on the 8th, on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, and PC. 30XX on Switch and PC on August 9th. Then on August 10th, you can get Atlas Fallen, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Stray on Xbox Series X and S and Xbox One. Stray Gods, the role-playing musical on PS5, PS4, Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, and PC. On the 11th, you can get House Flipper on PSVR2 and PSVR. That would be fun. Everspace 2 on PS5, Xbox Series X and S on August 15th, as well as Hammerwatch 2 on PC, moving out to PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, and PC. And then on the 17th, you'll be able to pick up Shadow Gambit, The Cursed Crew on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC, as well as Vampire Survivors on Switch. On the 18th, you can pick yourself up a copy of Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, Switch, and PC. Madden NFL 24 on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, and PC as well. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre also will be available on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Then on the 22nd of August, there's a few games coming out. Fort Silos, PS5, PC, and Mac. Immortals of the Avum.
Got nothing.
PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. I have to sneeze.
Bless you.
Smurfs Cart, which just sounds as cute as it probably is.
I am pretty sure that we need to play Smurfs Cart.
Smurfs Cart comes out on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S. And that's August 22nd as well.
Rated E for everyone.
This is on Nintendo. Let's take a look at this. Smurfs Cart.
I really hope that Gargamel is like an environmental hazard.
Oh, this is everything I hoped it would be. Look at their cute little cars made out of junk.
That is very cute.
Oh, yeah. I actually really like the graphics. Watch, this is going to be like... Look at that drifting.
You can drift. Okay. Smurfette has little pink car with daisy wheels.
I actually really like the graphics. It's kind of like
this is adorable.
It's got a bit of tilt shift photography to it. It feels like
Papa Smurf caught some air.
Yeah, going through the blueberries. That's great. On the 24th of August, you can pick up Blasphemous 2 on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC. On the 25th, you can get Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, and PC. On the 29th, you can get Goodbye Volcano High on PS4, PS5, and PC. And then on the 29th, also Samba de Amigo, Party Central on the Switch. Sea of Stars as well on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, and PC. Under the Waves, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, and PC. And then August 31st, last game to drop for the month, Trine 5, A Clockwork Conspiracy on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, and PC. But wait, there's more. As always, there is Xbox Games with Gold, a $39.98 value in $2,000 or 2,000 in gamer score as well. August 1st to the 31st, you can pick up Blue Fire. And Blue Fire is a game about evil forces that have taken over the world of Penumbra, and they need a warrior of light and darkness. And you embark on a journey to explore temples filled with 3D platforming challenges, battle wild enemies, and go on side quests. You can master the art of movement as you face increasingly challenging void puzzles and unlock the secrets that will save the day. And that game retails at a value of $19.99. You can also get Inertial Drift, and that is available for the entire month as well, August 1st to the 31st. And you can drive through a 90s retro future in this arcade racing game that leverages a unique handling model and twin stick shift mechanics. Choose from 16 unique cars across 20 wild tracks to tear through the neon streets, rev up your skills in single player story mode, and then prove you're the best in multiplayer. So, if you currently have an Xbox Gold Live subscription, September 24th, your Gold membership will automatically transition to the Xbox Game Pass Core with no change in price. So keep that in mind. The Xbox Game Pass Core will continue to provide online console multiplayer, plus immediate access to a new library of over 25 high-quality games from the Game Pass catalog to your play on Xbox Series X and S or Xbox One at no additional cost, and member deals and discounts. The Games with Gold will come to an end on September 1st. You can continue to access any Games with Gold games previously redeemed while remaining on Xbox Game Pass Core or Xbox Game Pass Ultimate membership. If you currently have an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate membership, you will continue on the same plan. And that is a statement directly from the Xbox website. So if you're wondering where we got that information from. The PlayStation Plus store also has some games for the month of August that you can grab. And that includes PGA Tour 2K23 on PS5 and PS4, Death's Door on PS5, PS4, and Dreams on PS4. Dreams comes with updates on September 1st. It doesn't necessarily mean that it isn't worth checking out, though. Apparently, this game has a creation tool that has a staggering library of users or user-created content and creators that still share projects with the community. So, but it really does exemplify the belief that the only limit is the bounds of your imagination, of course, and there are some seriously impressive games made inside Dreams. So if you feel like getting onto your creative side, you can check that out. Death's Door was one of the best indie games in 2021. This isometric action adventure starring a little crow with a sword is set in a beautiful and mysterious world.
It looks really cute.
The puzzles are engaging, the combat is satisfying, challenging, and each boss fight is a unique test of wit and prowess. If you like The Legend of Zelda, you'll probably like Death's Door. And then, of course, PGA Tour 2K23 has brilliant swing mechanics, features Tiger Woods, of course, the #1 golf professional in the world. Whether you're using an analog stick or 3-click system, it boasts a nice mix of iconic courses, real-life PGA pros, and a suite of game modes that give the sim staying power. Most notably, it has a robust course creator, so there are thousands of user-created courses to play. You and your friends can join online societies and compete in tournaments against players across the world. So be sure to check those out. And the last of our list of free games for the month of August is from Amazon Prime's Gaming. And they actually have quite a few games that you can pick up. I'm not going to go through the details of each game, but Payday 2 and the Gauge Mod Courier DLC is available, and that is Epic Game Store. And these are games that Prime members can snag at no additional costs. And that's on August 3rd. Farm Sim 19, also on the Epic Game Store on August 10th. As well on the 10th, Blade Assault. That's on the Amazon Games app. Star Wars: The Force Unleashed 2 on the Amazon Games app, available August 17th. As well on the 17th, Four Tales, also on the Amazon Games app. Driftland: The Magic Revival on the Amazon Games app on the 17th. In Sound Mind, also on the Amazon Games app August 24th. And then lastly, Summertime Madness on the Legacy Games code. That's August 31st. The additional thing to consider is that Prime members can stream Batora, Lost Haven, SteamWorld Quest, Smurfs, Mission Villif, and
There are a lot more Smurf games than I realized.
Wise 9 Lacrimose of Dana for free from Amazon Luna starting on August 1st. And then there are some in-game freebies that are included. The tier skips in Diablo 4, and the Jungle Penguin Bow Starflight sneaker, and 1,000 kudos in Fall Guys. That's almost enough to get me back into Fall Guys. So,
Really?
I liked Fall Guys. It was fun.
Yeah.
It's chaos.
It looks really cute.
Yeah.
I like how the little characters are just adorable.
It was cute until like it became prevalent with cheaters.
Yeah.
So
Cheaters ruin everything.
yeah, they do. Anyways, that's the new releases. I'm tired. Shaline, take over the news.
You got it. So, Cyberpunk 2077 and The Witcher developer CD Projekt Red has announced some major layoffs that will be affecting a large portion of the company's staff. These layoffs will affect approximately 9% of the workforce, following the studio's conclusion that it is overstaffed. The company does plan to offer comprehensive severance packages to affected employees, and they have communicated the cutbacks well in advance, so nobody is getting surprised at the last minute.
Did you say 9% of the workforce?
9%, yes.
9% of like the gaming industry workforce, or 9% of its workforce?
Of the CD Projekt Red workforce.
Okay. I was like, yeah. Dang, that's like substantial.
No.
Okay, I understand.
This is just affecting the one developer. The downsizing is part of CD Projekt Red's efforts to reshape its teams and development practices to produce high-quality games with no delays or crunch time. So workforce cutbacks are pretty standard in gaming, not least of which because of the cyclical nature of game development that leaves studios with staff redundancies based on the changing projects that they work on. In 2023, Take-Two Interactive, Relic Entertainment, Team 17, 343 Industries, and BioWare have all been hit with layoffs, among other developers and publishers. So it's not an uncommon thing. But this does seem like a really significant percentage of employees. The company's CEO, Adam Kaczynski, says in a July 26th notice that he calls it an organizational update. And he explained that the studio concluded that it is overstaffed following careful deliberation, and they decided to lay off 100 people, which is about 9% of its workforce. So these cutbacks are not going into immediate effect. Some of them are planned for the first quarter of 2024. Nevertheless, CD Projekt Red wanted to communicate these well in advance in order to provide the staffers with enough time to find other employment before they lose their current job. So that is a good thing. At least they weren't just walked immediately out the door.
Yeah, or at least they like didn't show up to like an empty office or something.
Yes.
That, like, we've heard those, and I think we've reported on those horror stories in the past.
Yes, we definitely have. People have shown up to work and found that the building was empty.
Yeah.
So,
or just not even there. Oh man. Well, hopefully, maybe some good can come from this, right? When there's turnover or layoffs, that means talent goes elsewhere, and that talent, Shaline, works on new projects. So, I see this as, I mean, it may not seem like a good thing for the people who are getting laid off, of course, but
it's difficult.
There's some good that can come from it.
It's always difficult when layoffs happen.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate that CD Projekt Red does seem to be doing this in the least painful way possible, giving their employees with plenty of notice and offering that severance package.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Sounds like
it,
they have a solid HR team, right?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Our next article will make right to repair activists very happy. Xbox is now selling replacement controller parts and showing you how to fix them. So,
Oh, that's cool.
yes, you can visit the new Xbox repair and replacement parts page on the Microsoft Store to order parts for the Xbox Elite controller or the standard Xbox wireless controller for the Series X and S. Parts include replacement input, PCBAs, that's the circuit board that handles controller input, replacement motor assemblies, which include attached rumble motors, buttons, and top cases. As well as selling replacement parts, Microsoft has posted documentation and video guides showing players how to repair their own equipment. One video, for example, shows players how to remove the case of their controller, remove the battery, and disassemble and reassemble the controller's various components. Microsoft pledged back in 2021 that it would investigate the possibility of letting consumers repair their own hardware, including consoles. And now they have come through on that. They were the first large tech firm to declare a willingness to address the right to repair movement, which wants companies to make it possible for anyone to repair their own devices. So,
I feel like okay. I feel like this is kind of late because like what Xbox owner hasn't customized their own controller?
uh,
And like
lots of them.
as a result have taken apart their controller to customize it. So like don't people already
I've
kind of
never
know?
taken apart an Xbox controller.
No? Oh.
No, I
Well.
think more people have not done that than have.
Hmm.
But
Well, I mean
being able
it's
to
a good
buy
thing all
first
around,
party
obviously.
parts and repair your own thing is very good. And Joseph Tao wants to compare this to the policies of Nintendo.
I was just going to say I would like to see
Mm-hmm.
the Nintendo Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially cuz they're like, well, if you send them in, we'll fix them.
Yeah, the extensive problems that have been had with the Switch Joy-Cons and Drift. And it's so silly. It's so silly that you have to mail them back in.
Yeah, Taz says maybe they'll be a good example for John Deere because you know the whole war that farmers have with John Deere and the right to repair and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
just silly. What farmer doesn't have the ability to repair their own equipment? Like honestly,
I'm a big supporter of the right to repair. I think it's you're right when you've bought something to be able to work on it.
well,
And
exactly, yeah, and the other thing is like, I mean, I guess I can understand it from a liability standpoint, like
mhm.
you know they need to add a clause to their warranty and things like that that it's like if you take this apart and you die because you know you get shocked to death or something, that's on you. Right, like that's totally on you because we've given you the right to repair and you said okay great.
I
So
mean, I am sure that the instructional manuals and videos that they are providing have pretty clear information about,
yes, absolutely.
making sure things aren't plugged in, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, 6 months
yeah,
from now we're going to be reporting on a thing that like
the first
so and
death of
so's
somebody. Oh
freaking
no.
pacemaker or something like
Oh
oh
no,
my
vendor. Don't
god.
even say it. I don't even want to
We've
put
been
that
doing the
energy out
news.
into the
We've
world.
been doing the news long enough, Shaline, that you just kind of know that some crazy story is going to happen, and then there's going to
Yes.
be a lawsuit, and here we are
What
talking
I'm
about the
hoping
same
for
lawsuit for
is
4 months.
the story where somebody buys a bunch of these replacement parts and cobbles together a Franken controller of some kind.
Yeah.
That's what I'm waiting for is some kind of wild new build out
I
of these
wonder
spare parts.
if does the right to repair would it give businesses the right to repair on the behalf of the owner?
Think so.
Cuz I mean like
Yeah.
game console repairs are already a thing. Like you can take your
Mm-hmm.
like I took my old PS3 to somebody and They repaired
Like to a computer repair shop
the
or
optical
something,
thing in
or
it. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So I mean, it was already out of warranty
Makes
at that
sense.
point, so it didn't matter. But I wonder. Yeah.
Bender, have you played much Oblivion?
No.
Me either. But we may get the chance to. It is rumored that the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion is getting a remake. This
Really?
is a Video Games Chronicle by
Hmm.
Chris Scullion article. And a former employee allegedly made the claim that this official remake is happening. The Reddit user claimed that they were a former employee of Virtuous, and the post is now deleted. Um, but this user was reportedly verified by the subreddit's mods as being a legitimate former Virtuous employee. And if the verification process was accurate, that could lend some more credibility to this claim. But according to the user, Virtuous is working on 5 separate projects, and one of those is the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3. They claim that the studio is also working on Project Alter, which is either a remake or remaster of Oblivion, which will use a pairing system that will run the game on both Unreal Engine 5 and the Oblivion engine.
Hmm.
So the claim, a quote from this claim, for instance, new graphics are rendered in the Unreal Engine 5 project, but most of the gameplay, physics, etc. are still done in the Oblivion engine. They also say the project will be released at the end of 2024 or in early 2025, depending on if it's a remake or a remaster, and that this is mostly being done in the Paris studio. Other projects that Virtuous is working on are massive, described as Monster Hunter crossed with Shadow of the Colossus, an expansion for Amazon's MMO New World, and a narrative climbing game codenamed Ominous. So
Mm.
the only one of these that is confirmed for certain is the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. The rest is just rumors. But it seems like they might be credible rumors. So interesting. I know Oblivion is highly touted as being one of the best Elder Scrolls games out there. Um,
Yeah.
I couldn't get into it myself.
Daddy-O's in the chat. He's saying they should also do Morrowind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Morrowind makes sense. That's an older game. You know, it's due for some touch ups. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what comes.
for
I,
sure.
yeah,
I
that
would definitely give
Oblivion.
it a try if they modernized Oblivion. I would give it another try. It was I discovered Oblivion when it was already very old, you know, after Skyrim had come out.
Right.
And it's pretty hard to move back from Skyrim to Oblivion without nostalgic goggles, you know,
Yep.
for that original
Yeah. Sometimes you go
experience.
back to games and you're like, man, this really does not hold up well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what
Yeah.
happened? I used to think it was like state of the art.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So speaking of rumors, there is an additional rumor that Nintendo will be releasing its next gen console in 2024. This is
Ooh.
also a Video Games Chronicle article. This one's by Andy Robinson. Development kits for the console are now with key partner studios. Um, and the launch is planned for next year, according to VGC's sources. Multiple people with knowledge of Nintendo's next gen console plans say that the company is likely to release this during the second half of 2024 to ensure that they have ample stock available on day one and avoid the shortages like we had with PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series XS. And specific details on the console are being kept closely guarded, but those that VGC spoke to indicated that the next gen console would be able to be used in portable mode similarly to the Nintendo Switch. 2 sources suggested that the console could launch with an LCD screen instead of the more premium OLED in order to bring down costs, especially considering the increased storage needed for higher fidelity games. The current Switch comes with just 32 gigabytes of internal memory, while many current gen PlayStation and Xbox games are over 100 gigabytes.
Right.
And like its predecessor, the Nintendo console will accept physical games via a cartridge slot, according to these sources. Other details, such as backwards compatibility support for Switch games, both physical and digital, remains unclear. Nintendo has said that it wants to convert as many of the Switch's 100 million plus user base as possible to the next system. But some third party publishers are said to have expressed concern that legacy support for Switch games could negatively affect sales of next gen titles. Nintendo did not respond to VGC's request for comment on this story. So
I don't think that's going to affect next gen console sales.
I don't know. It could. It could.
I
Because
mean,
people would just be.
if you're buying a new copy of the same game that you have on a new console,
Mhm.
then
I just hope we don't see another Wii U situation where the next console is confusing and just not really desirable.
I loved my Wii U, but
You
I
had a
was
Wii U?
I was one of the few people that had a
You had a Wii U. I didn't know you had a Wii U.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I had one
I mean,
too.
it's sitting in a box over in the but like
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, I had the Wind Waker version. The Yeah. So
I honestly okay. So I bought a Switch and we're going to talk about that in the gameplay. But like of course they would announce that they're coming out with a new console. I just bought their most latest console. That's exactly how it works. I could go out, Shaline, and buy a PS5 tomorrow, and the next day Sony would announce that they're coming out with a new console. That's it's just how it works. So
Sounds about right. Sounds about right.
I don't know.
But it is an older piece of hardware now. It is getting a little bit long in the tooth.
Yeah,
What would you want from a Switch successor?
I don't know, to be honest. Nintendo has done a very good job of building a portable gaming console. They've done a
Mm-hmm.
very good job building a handheld console that works very well as part of an entertainment system in a home.
Have you played
And
with it docked?
yes.
Yeah.
And the thing is I play with it docked, sometimes I play with it not docked, and it's seamless.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just pull it out of the thing and just go.
Yeah.
Like
When your battery runs low, just drop it in the dock and you
that's
can keep
just
playing where you were.
it is what it is, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't know how they can make it any better. Um, I don't know how I feel about like I guess it would make sense for using LCD screen, but
That OLED screen is so superior.
the OLED screen's really nice, and people are gonna pay for that.
Mm-hmm. I
We're
agree.
if anybody knows the gaming industry, anything about the gaming industry, it's that we go in debt to get the things that we want, and we don't care.
Yes.
We don't care why or how we
Mm-hmm.
do it. So, um, and of those who are not of financial means, they bug their parents until they get it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you build
Yeah,
it, they will come. Um, I think the LCD screen might hurt them a little bit.
I agree. I agree.
People might actually be more interested in buying the OLED Switch over a new LCD console.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm really not sure what I would want out of a next gen Switch either. The Switch is so good.
It's so
It's
good.
such a good console. The only thing that I can think of in terms of improving it is maybe, and increase the docked graphical abilities of the
Mhm.
games, and as they mentioned, higher memory capacity would
Honestly,
be
the battle that
great.
they're fighting is the guts of this thing, right?
Yes.
They need to up the ability for handheld, portable handhelds to have, at the very least 1080p,
Hmm.
uh,
Yes.
or 4K. Sorry, 4K. The OLED has 1080p, right? It
I'm not
does.
sure. I thought it had 720.
I think it doesn't have, um, it doesn't have 4K capabilities.
It definitely does not have 4K ability.
No.
I think it's 720 handheld and 1080 docked.
The 1080 docked. Yeah, that's what I mean. So like
Yes.
they've gotta up the innards of these things to have that 4K capability, but I don't know how they would be able to do that. Like,
Right. Right.
because right now it's a USB-C, so
Mhm.
can you can't even get 4K through USB-C, can you?
I have no idea.
I don't know. And then the other thing is the memory too. Like, I mean, it's nice that you can just throw in a memory card, right?
Hmm.
And
That
like,
is very
there's
helpful.
like 1 terabyte memory cards out there. So, I
They
mean,
are so expensive, though.
I know. I got Carlo one
Mm.
for his birthday. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's really honestly the only thing. I mean, my only criticism of the Switch is that it's not very ergonomic in the sense that when you're holding it as a handheld,
Hmm.
it's a little bit crampy.
I agree with
Um,
that. Yeah,
but it
it's a
is
little hard
nice
on
that
your
you
hands
can
sometimes.
dock it and pull those controllers off and then just sit and play however you want to play, right? Like, so
Do you have a
um
pro controller?
no, I don't have the pro controller, and
Yeah.
honestly, I tried playing with the controller that comes with it, and I don't like it. I think I like them actually separated
Hmm.
like that.
The
Yeah.
pro controller is very nice. It's one of my favorite controllers. Quite enjoy the pro
Hmm.
controller. So
Yeah, so if you're listening and you're wondering or speculating like we are, and you want to chime in your 2 cents and give us your thoughts on what you'd like to see in the next Nintendo console, send us some mail in the MailStack channel in the Discord.
indeed.
Hmm.
Well, if you're not a Nintendo person and you would prefer a another Sony handheld, the Sony Project Q handheld is has been leaked. This is a The Verge article. Um, this video shows it running Android software, which I find pretty interesting, and it's a
Uh,
really simple menu system.
this is where I'm supposed to cue the thing, aren't
Mm-hmm.
I? Yeah. Okay. Give me a second here. Okay. Here we go.
Yeah.
Boop. Sorry.
And the person making this video just taps through the menu and starts rolling the handheld over to show the top, back, and bottom of it. The low resolution makes it hard to tell very much, but you can make out what looks like four buttons behind the tablet portion of the device on the top, some sintered holes on the top and bottom edge of the tablet. Maybe those are microphones, and what appears to be speaker slots on the top edge. So,
I love this,
um,
Shaline. It's like they took the PS4 controller and they just stretched it out and slapped a
yes,
tablet in the middle of it.
exactly, exactly. That is so funny.
But it is smart though, because like they're appealing to the people who already use a PS5 controller. So, you know, use what you know. And the PS5 controller I heard is very, very good.
It is. It's an excellent controller. I'm a huge fan of the PS5 controller.
Yeah. How do you feel about this handheld?
Well, the fact that it requires um it's you're streaming your games from your PlayStation to this device, to me that really limits its usefulness as a handheld. It is practical in cases where, there's multiple people fighting over a single TV in the house. Um it makes sense in those instances, but when I want a handheld, it's usually because I want to take it somewhere with me, and that wouldn't be practical with the. It wouldn't be workable with the Project Q.
Right?
This is basically a Wii U gamepad. It's pretty much what we're looking at here is the Wii U gamepad, and
It's crazy to me that you can't just walk out of the house with this and go sit in a
mhm.
park and play, or go to a cafe and like, what were they thinking?
Yeah, to me that doesn't make a ton of sense, and it's possible that I've misunderstood the concept of the device a bit, but I don't think I have.
Like, if
So,
I want to if I want to play my PlayStation 5 and I'm at home,
mhm.
I'm going to play it on the big screen.
And maybe that market really is focused on people who are fighting over that single screen in the house,
I don't
but
know. Even then I still think it's a bit of a stretch.
it seems silly to
get
me.
get it? Yeah.
A stretch, nice. Okay, I missed that. I'm a little slow today. So, vendor, do you want to talk about Sea of Thieves?
Yes,
It's been a minute since we played some Sea of Thieves together,
it
and I
has
think we should
been.
change that maybe next week.
Okay.
Uh,
I'm I'll be cautiously optimistic about this.
yes.
Yeah.
Let's try and after the show, let's try and set up a date.
Okay.
Um, but Sea of Thieves has released their Legend of Monkey Island DLC situation. So did you play those Monkey Island games back in the day? Those
Nope.
Lucasfilm Monkey Island games?
None
I
of
didn't
it.
either, but they are just incredibly, incredibly iconic to many, many people. And um, yeah, they've now got a campaign set in that world. So you can access the first three parts at this point. You travel to Melee Island, which was the first setting in the original game. And it's in a 3D setting for the first time, 3D environment.
That's
So
exciting.
yeah, that's pretty cool. And they've recreated as much of it as possible. And you can find some special barrels to sit on that recreate the viewpoint from the original 2D game, which is really cute. And the
I
original
but
Monkey
it's so
Island
good.
theme plays.
This
I
looks
just
so
want to
good.
derail for a moment and just shout out this comment in the chat. Blame Russo says, "Oh no, the PS5U." Yeah,
Yeah.
that's that's exactly what I was
Basically.
thinking.
Yeah.
So this campaign really focuses on puzzle solving as opposed to the usual Sea of Thieves sailing and combat and treasure hunting. Um, and an example that they give here is that you'll come across a dog that has a bone that you need, and you have to figure out how to get the dog to give up the bone. So you can, of course, play this as a co-op experience. Sea of Thieves is founded on co-op experiences. And according to the author of this Venture Beat Games article, it was really fun to play it as a co-op experience. So
Okay.
I'm not going to really read through the rest because it starts to get a little spoilery, but I think it sounds really fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, I think we absolutely need to play this together, and this is absolutely what's going to get me back into Sea of Thieves.
Yes, we'll let's wait until Archon gets off work and we'll plan the
Yeah,
day.
yeah. Cause
Yes.
I miss playing Sea of Thieves. It's been a few months.
It's
It's been
been
a few
quite a
months.
while.
Yeah,
I
some
played
games
with
have
you the
taken over
last
my
time that
life.
I played it. So,
Same, same.
mm-hmm.
So
Yes, that's been a while.
yeah.
And this final article, Vendor, do you want to go over this one?
No, you do it. It's fine.
Okay. So this is a University of Alberta folio article. And that's, I believe, your university, correct?
Yes, I threw this in there
Yeah.
because it's from my university.
This is super interesting. So the article is about why gaming graduates are exiting the industry early. I'm sorry, I'm having some trouble keeping my words straight today. Experts from 4 universities teamed up to identify changes that educators and employers could make to help new graduates succeed. And the crux of the problem here is that a growing number of fresh recruits to the gaming industry are leaving within the first 3 years. And University of Alberta researchers are trying to find out why. According to Kinsey Gordon, a doctoral candidate in digital humanities, there's a huge explosion in post-secondary gaming programs and the number of people pursuing it as a career, but for most people, it will be very short-lived. And we know that for people of color, women, and marginalized gender folks, it's even shorter, but there's not really any research on why.
Hmm.
So, Gordon's project, along with her research collaborators, is called The First 3 Years, and it hopes to identify changes in gaming programs and in the gaming industry that might help graduates succeed. And the University of Alberta offers a certificate in computer game development jointly between the Faculty of Arts and the Faculty of Science. Along with partners from York University, the University of Waterloo, and Western University, Gordon and her supervisor, Sean Guglis, that's a name.
Sean Douglas.
I'm sorry, sir, but that is so unexpected to see Guglis instead of Douglas.
Maybe it's a typo.
I wonder. I'm gonna click through. Oh, stand by, please stand by. Nope, that is Sean Douglas, PhD. That is so unexpected. Okay.
Probably happens a lot. Dr. Douglas. Sorry, carry on.
I'm sorry, that was really difficult because that just really took me by surprise. So they've interviewed and surveyed more than 200 people in the final year of a gaming program and in their first year of employment after graduation. 39% identified as 2S LGBTQ plus, which is a
39%? That's
that's a
high.
new nomenclature that I'm not familiar with yet. And
Two
31
spirit. Two spirit.
two spirit.
Two
Okay.
spirit LGBTQ plus. Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying that for me. And 31% identified as having a physical or mental difference. Almost 20% felt that an aspect of their identity negatively impacted their experience in the game industry.
Huh.
And the new employees range from those working in large AAA gaming studios to those who have started their own companies and to even some working at NASA. The range of places that they've gone is really incredible. And this is a quote from Gordon. But there's also a substantial portion who have applied for over 100 jobs and end up with nothing. Yeah, it's really interesting.
That is
The
so fascinating.
article goes on to talk about crunch and some other different aspects such as internships and some of the subcultures in gaming. And I recommend going ahead and reading through the whole thing, but
Yeah,
I don't think we have time to do that
I'm
here.
just reading this quick quote from her. She says in university programs they find that making games is not the same as playing games.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
And playing games is not the same as streaming games.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When
Absolutely.
you make it a profession,
Everything
you
changes.
kill the joy in it.
Yeah,
But
I saw a post from someone that I follow on social media who is a game developer. He said they never tell you coming into game development that when you work in game development, you don't have time to play video games. Like
yeah,
this.
and it's shocking, 40% of gaming students not making it to the end of their degrees.
Mm-hmm.
40%,
That's huge.
almost half
Huge.
of a graduating cohort not making it. And that's
Mm-hmm.
not because they're failing, it's because they're just lack of interest. Is that what I'm understanding here? That's not good for the faculty. That's definitely not good for.
Really interesting.
Yeah. That's I wonder what the take is from the industry side. Like, I wonder what
I'd like
Pete
to
Hines.
follow Gordon's research
Yeah.
as it goes forward and see what she finds out
Yeah, we
as
should have her
she
on the
moves
show.
forward.
I'm sure I could
I think that's a
convince her.
brilliant idea. You should, yeah, shoot her a message and see if you can get her to talk about this with us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Huh.
that would be fascinating.
Interesting. Well,
That's the news for this week.
that's the news. We've got stocks. And of course, these are a 2-week update, but these prices are in comparison to our last week because I wrote these notes last week. So Sony closed out at $90.19, down $3.28. Microsoft at $327.78, down $10.59. Nintendo down 53 cents at $10.77. Take-Two Interactive down $19.42, closing out at $142.18. Activision also down 95 cents at 91.58. Ubisoft down 137 at 28.72. EA down $15.26 at 122.59. Tencent down at 246 and 43.50. So it's been a bad week for the gaming stock market. Yeah, especially for Take-Two, they lost almost $20 on their stock price.
It's huge. Yeah,
Which is big when
huge.
you're only sitting around $150, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
wonder what's going on. Is this in the wake of the Activision news? I'm not sure. I don't think that it would have that
Honestly,
big of a
I
ripple.
I am not sure what this would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just inflation.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, that is GameStock. We've got to open some.
You've got mail.
Mail. Do we have mail, Shaline?
Indeed, we do. We have a huge backlog of mail, so we're not going to get to all of it, but we're going to start and eventually get there. Our first one comes from RTZ. Hello, all. Happy Monday. Just to give some thinking time before the next show, I've got a question. What are your games that you never thought you'd like due to the genre or reviews, and somehow you ended up trying them due to a friend's recommendations and ended up becoming one of your favorites unexpectedly? For me, it was Death Stranding, as I mentioned previously, and the unexpectedly soothing experience of Euro Truck Sim, thanks to Vendor. Now, Vendor, do you have your answer? Or do you want me to go through some of the community answers first?
Let's hear from what the community has to say.
Okay. So Vexinator says, for me, it would be Skyrim. Before Skyrim, I didn't even know about the Elder Scrolls series. Then one of my college roommates got Skyrim when it released, and I got hooked. And Moxie says, so for me, it was Fallout 3. I hadn't heard of it. And even if I had, I don't know that I would have picked it up on my own. But a friend in college convinced me to try it, and I became obsessed.
Huh.
Green Camps says, ever? Stars 2, version 2, whatever, came out in 1997. Played Virtual Machine 2014 and Shining Force 2, Master of Monsters, Sega Genesis Master System, Final Fantasy 11 without blabbering on and on. Stars is a turn based game. Some compare it to Master of Orion, a 4X game. I played it in a VM environment with a bunch of friends, plus 7 to 8 AI characters. You do your actions and wait for everyone to finish their actions and then cycle a new year turn. Playing chess by mail in comparison is faster, winky face. So um, SF2/MOM was my introduction to stuff similar to the Tactics Ogre Final Fantasy Tactics turn-based war map genre. MOM's music could put me to sleep. Final Fantasy XI was my first official MMO when it came to the US. I heard horror stories of EverQuest, EverCrack, Ultima Online, and RuneScape. I didn't want the PvP-ness to be swung in my face. Since then, I moved on from drug to drug to drug. We
Oh
understand.
dear.
Green Camps, we
That's
understand.
so fitting with our show title, I Caught an Addiction.
Yes, we have several others, and I'd
Because
like to keep going if that's okay.
yes, absolutely.
Fire and Gasoline says, in response
Fallout 3,
to
Moxie.
RTZ, to Moxie.
Yeah.
Same here. My brother recommended it, and I instantly fell in love. So that's Fallout 3. Vodka Knockers says Borderlands. I was working at a video game store at the time and didn't know much about it before its release. Within days of launch, all my coworker buddies and I were hooked, as it was my first true looter shooter. It quickly rocketed up to being one of my top favorite franchises, along with Halo, Mass Effect, and Gears of War. Same group of buddies and I played Borderlands 2 and 3 at ridiculous lengths. That is so great. I love that. Alexandra's okay, hers is a different topic. So let's go ahead and finish this. Have you thought what your answer to RTZ's question is? A game that you initially didn't think you would like, but you
Now,
tried based on
yeah,
a
here's the thing.
recommendation?
I actually thought I was thinking Animal Crossing, but the thing is I actually knew that I would like it. So
Yes.
that disqualifies it from the question. I want to say the one game is probably Deep Rock Galactic,
Oh, interesting. Because
and
you love that
that
game.
was a game that Rick recommended,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a bullseye. I love it. I actually haven't played it for quite some time, and I was just talking to Jess about it, saying that we should play it because they've got this
Mm-hmm.
new beach party, summer beach party part of their season where there's sharks in bikinis and stuff, and it's adorable, and I love it. So we have to go back to it. But for me, it would be DRG. All the other
Yeah.
games that I can think of that friends recommended that I play, I got them because I knew I would like it. But DRG was a game that I got and tried, and I went in blind. I didn't know what I was going to be getting into, and I didn't know if I would like it or not. And I was very pleasantly surprised. What about you?
I'm going to go with Dragon Age Origins, based on the recommendations of Liz. Of course, Mistress LeBeau on Twitter.
Oh, I miss
Um,
Liz.
I know, isn't Liz the best?
She is the
I love
best.
Liz.
Yeah.
Yeah. But um I I had played some Dragon Age 2 and really liked it. And I had tried Dragon Age Origins. I didn't understand it. It didn't click. I played for like an hour maybe and gave up on it. Uh, but Liz, the way she talked about this game, I just felt like I had to check it out. So I gave it another chance and ended up absolutely obsessed. And I've played through all of the different origin stories. I have almost all of the achievements. I've done multiple playthroughs. It's just amazing. So
Huh.
Dragon Age Origins.
Dragon Age Origins. All right. What else you
Yeah.
got on the mail stack?
Okay, our next mail comes from Alexandra. She says, "Okay, so my uncle was Microsoft's lead patent attorney for Micro for Michael. I'm
You've been reading
starting
too much
over.
US
I'm
politics,
starting
Shalene.
over. My uncle was Microsoft's lead patent attorney for Microsoft in the early 2000s,
Okay.
96 through 2005, I believe. And they followed him when he went to his own practice in around 2005. And he says that he loves Microsoft, but he is not a fan of the Activision Blizzard acquisition. You don't have to use this in the podcast, but he did give me permission to share his opinion on this. So do with this what you will." And I thought that was really interesting. It's sort of, how when you're a kid and there's always like my uncle that works at Nintendo, except she actually has an uncle that worked at Microsoft
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
patent attorney. So that is absolutely makes a ton of sense. Um, and vendor, you asked for some follow-up information, any particular reason why he's not a fan. And she says he feels similarly to you guys about the antitrust stuff. He doesn't like the idea of the monopolies, and that seems to be where the gaming community is headed right now, if Microsoft is allowed to continue with this sort of thing. So
It's Shalene, it's really nice to know that I feel a little bit more level headed about this now because,
yeah.
if Microsoft's own past patent attorney has the same opinion about it, then I think I'm on the right page.
Right. Yeah. I
So,
thought that was really interesting. So thank you, Alex, for sharing that with us.
it's so interesting.
That was definitely an insight we wouldn't have had otherwise. And I did want to share RTZ says a little further down the line, Shalene's reaction when she realizes that now the mail stack is also about Microsoft and Activision. And it's the meme of the kid like with the face and he's blinking, like just complete disgust and
Yeah.
apathy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So good.
yeah.
Uh
No, I while I am very tired of talking about Microsoft and Activision, I am very glad to get this incredibly unique perspective that we wouldn't have had otherwise.
oh,
So
incredibly unique. Yeah. Right?
yeah,
Mhm.
and that'll wrap up this week's mail. We'll save the rest for next time.
Okay. If you want to post some mail or some questions to us, feel free to do that in the Mail Stack channel in the Discord. But for now, we're going to move on to screenshots and stories. And this first screenshot, we've got a backlog. We've got like 40 or 50 screenshots over the last 2 weeks that we have to go through. So we're not going to be able to cover them all. I apologize if we don't get you in on time, but we will get you in on next week's show. This first one comes from you, Shalene, and I'm just going to let you explain this to our
Yes.
audio and visual listeners.
So this is a Fallout 76 screenshot. And I think I had mentioned on a previous show that they have added like a turtle backpack skin to the game from the new cryptid, the Agua. I'm not sure if that's how you're supposed to pronounce it, but it's like a giant turtle cryptid.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And Archin is incredibly lovely. And he waited until he got two of these backpack skins to learn his. So he gave me the other one and we learned the turtle backpack skin and we dressed up as wasteland ninja turtles and spent the rest of that week going around in little Donatello masks and wielding katanas and just being wasteland ninja turtles, and it was a
So
fun
good.
time.
It's
It was
so
really
good.
silly.
I love that you're like the Bowser of the Wasteland. Like
That's amazing.
basically. Uh,
And my character is just so silly. Jim Justice is so ludicrous with his giant pink pompadour.
yeah, I do get the Ninja Turtles reference though. I
Mm-hmm.
love it. It's great. You need to have like a little pizza sitting on the side there,
That would have been so brilliant.
right? This next one is absolutely fantastic. It's from Tim, and he says you need to pick up Sonic Origins on Steam. It's really good. Um, I correction. This one is yes, it is. It's from Green Camps actually. And
Oh,
he says
okay.
the Sega Master Drive and Genesis set on Steam does have Sonic 1 bonus stage. And he posted this picture of, I don't know if you remember, have you played any Sonic, Shaline?
I played some Sonic as a kid, but
So
it's
this is like
been
one of this
years.
screenshot is the screenshot of one of those bonus rounds
Right.
in Sonic where you go into like that weird floaty like space with those bumper stars, and you got to try to
Mm-hmm.
get through the crystals in the middle to get the main crystal, and it's super hard because if you fall out of the boundaries of that spinning thing, you're done and you lose the crystal. I loved
Right.
those stages. They were the best. All right. So, this we know where this is from.
This looks like a Taz update,
This is
huh? We're in.
definitely a Taz update. He posted. I'll read it and then you can explain it. Here's a side by side viewing of the SS GameStack on the left, next to the soon to be SS GameStack 2 on the right. This was for demonstrative purposes to show the planned changes in the ship. And the smaller ship is our current ship, which is green, and it's a little bit smaller than the other ship, which is the larger ship, and it's sort of like a blue. And yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
He also posted the Rusty Lemon once again, which, as you know, is the rover. It was severely damaged when the outpost was hit by a Parallax Cooperation, whose outpost this was, and they were eventually driven off. So the Rusty Lemon perhaps may be no more. I'm not sure. And he also posted this one. Oh no, sorry, that's it. This picture comes to us from Satyr,
I
and
was about to say, no, 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 no,
I
no. This
assume
looks
that
like a Seder shot.
this is Star Citizen, and Satyr
Mm-hmm.
says practice some low flying around Lorville in Star Citizen, then went for a snack. Have a sinking suspicion that the torpedo burrito may be more truth in advertising than they intended, and it's literally just a little green ship with two giant engines on each side. I assume it's called the torpedo burrito, but
Very cute.
yeah, it looks pretty good actually. And then there's a cockpit
Ooh,
view of the
look at
inside.
that. That feels like the future.
That actually looks pretty good for Star Citizen. Like this is giving me some Outer Worlds / Cyberpunk vibes a little bit.
This looks great.
I like it. Yeah. Um, I don't even want to. Oh, that's scary. Okay,
Torpedo
here's the
burrito.
torpedo
There it is.
burrito. So he's
So
standing in front of this is like GTA space version, right? Like it's
yeah,
literally
he's at
GTA
a like
Online
an
space.
eatery here.
He's at an
A little hole in
eatery,
the wall eatery.
and there's like this an open sign with like ramen and a fish neon sign, and the fish has bones in it. It's pretty adorable actually. And then
And
there's
the
this
torpedo
TiVo,
burrito
yeah,
sign.
this TV just says
It
torpedo
looks
burrito.
like a Taco Bell burrito, and the tagline is what
Un-
is it?
unleash a
With a
payload. Unleash
unleash
a
a
payload.
payload of flavor. Oh my goodness.
Sater's in the chat and says Lorville is more Blade Runner. So
Interesting.
that's a pretty good screenshot. Thanks for sharing that. Then we've got a couple of Uncharted Drake from RTZ13. He said
Uncharted Drake's Fortune.
the portion is completed. Great looking game, however, felt more like an on rails interactive novel with climbing segments. And he posted this
That's
picture
totally
of
fair.
like
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
Drake and
know
Elena.
what is this like Kathmandu or something.
I don't remember where this is.
Somewhere in Tibet, it looks like maybe I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's
And it's all
gorgeous.
overgrown and it's just
Ruins
beautiful.
covered in jungle.
Yeah. And here's a good one of him atop some mountains overlooking more mountains. Looks like my kind of game, actually.
Beautiful. You
Yeah.
would like these games, I think.
This one here is also from RTZ13. He said this might come up on the show, but who else is fishing? And I don't know what game this is.
This is a Dave the Diver screenshot, and I am going to talk extensively about Dave the Diver here in a little while.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see this little guy in his little wetsuit. That's Dave. Yeah. He's
He's cute.
adorable. He's so cute.
Okay, okay. So he's on his boat. Madden's 68. Is that what it says on the boat?
I'm not sure
I think it
actually.
says Madden 68. And there's
Yeah.
like, yeah, in the background, there's like some sort of, it looks like a floating houseboat that's like
Yeah, I
Japan
believe that's the sushi
inspired
restaurant.
or Chinese
Yeah.
Oriental inspired maybe. Um, and then it's on this beautiful backdrop of like this channel with like,
Hmm.
yeah, mountains
And
all
this is
around.
all pixel art, by the way, for our
Beautiful.
audio folk. Pixel art.
Yeah. And then another picture of an employee contract. It says, "I'm going to make my money fast and go traveling." And this is the employee is Kyoko. Um, and yeah, I don't know if you can explain more of this, Shaline, because it.
I haven't gotten far enough, I guess, into the game to get here yet. I don't have
Okay, okay.
employees.
And then a final screenshot um, of
This
him
is,
diving.
yes, diving, and you can catch the fish and gather resources. It's really cute.
It's actually looks really cute. Yeah.
This is so much fun, this
It
game.
looks really complex. I wonder what the compendium is like for this. Is it like this broad archive of like hundreds of different fish?
I haven't looked into the compendium,
Huh.
actually.
This screenshot is from who's this from? 4 Mile. Oh my God, 4 Mile has been taken over by Animal Crossing. She started her game because I got a Switch, and then I convinced her to get a Switch, and then we all convinced her to get Animal Crossing, and now she's addicted.
Mm-hmm.
Hence the name of the show. And she posted this screenshot of the beginning of Animal Crossing where everybody's around the fire. Tom Nook and Timmy and Tommy are also there with their little drinks, and everybody has their drinks. And she says, "So we have a little group of drinkers." And then she posted this next screenshot, and it was like, and this is my humble abode, but I love it
Does she
because
have
it's
a
like
black eye?
she has a black eye and she has an eye that's stung by a bee. So I don't know what happened, but yeah, it was not a good day. Yeah, that's cute. And then of course this one, she went fishing and she caught a dace fish. She said, "Turns out I'm a great fisherman or fisher lady." But yeah. But as
So
you can
cute.
see, my eye got stung by a bee, well, wasp, and my neighbor, well, had an opinion about that. And then she posted this picture of Mira, who says, "Wow, why is your face all gnarly? Were you in a fight? Who was it? Where are they?"
I love that. Mira's ready to have your back.
It's so cute. I love the residents. They're great. And then she did a little bit of. I had to share some of these other screenshots that she
Mm-hmm.
posted from the older games. So she was playing Mario Kart here. She's like, "I haven't played this. This is the first time I've played this in years. It's so
Mario
good."
Kart's so good.
And also a classic screenshot. We know where this
Ooh.
is from. The original Super Mario Brothers.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Yeah,
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
yeah. And she said,
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
a quick run on this until death. I so want the old OG controllers." And
That's great.
her last screenshot from this is also Sonic. She said, "Okay, I really need to go to sleep now. The Switch is so addictive, you guys."
This is that first Eggman fight, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah, yeah. So
Brilliant.
love those classic picks. This one is from Agent DB Cooper, and this is the best ever. It's a picture in Skyrim, and is it Skyrim or Elder
This
Scrolls?
is Skyrim,
This is
yeah.
definitely Skyrim, and it's this child, this little girl. Her name is Dorothy, and she says, "In all my years, I've never seen such a thing." And Agent's caption in the Discord was like, "Kid, you're like 10."
In all her 7 years.
And all, right? And then RTZ pipes up and says, "10 years is enough to see a lot in this world."
That's so good. So good.
Yeah. Do we have any more? Oh, yes. This one from Alex, and it's a picture of Archon in Pokemon Go, I presume.
Yes, there is a Pokemon called an Archon.
Yeah.
So this is Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
She's like, "Hey,
Yeah.
Archon, you're in Pokemon."
Oh, and this one is from me.
Looks
This
like you
is
also got stung by a wasp.
My life was a mess when I took this picture in Animal Crossing New Horizons. I don't know if you can see on the left side of this picture, but there's like junk everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. I'm like desperately waiting for my house and for blathers to come so that I can get rid of all of these fossils. It was just a mess. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I met Biff. He's one of my residents. He gifted me an Explorer hat. And I returned the favor with a Tam O'Shanter hat. And then
He looks so cute in that
he ended
hat.
up giving me an ice machine in return. So now it's just
Ooh.
it's just one long gifting standoff between me and Biff. Yeah. And then I visited Jess's island.
Oh, look at you guys.
And or is this your island,
This is
Shalene?
my island. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
you and Jess at my island. That's me in the Smurf hat behind the mini map.
Yeah, this is me and this is me in 4 Mile.
Yeah,
Shalene had gifted us some cool masks and grass skirts. So we're standing in front of Shalene's house with our weird leaf masks and our grass
that is
shirts.
so cute.
Yeah, it
Look at
was
you
pretty
guys.
adorable. Anyways, um, and then a couple of quick updates from Taz. I wanted to squeeze this last one in because I hadn't gotten it. He said, "Here is the Discovery One, fully constructed and undergoing launch preparations to head to space to begin construction of the SS GameStack 2 and subsequent salvaging of SS GameStack. She will also be accompanied by a combat engineer support vessel. Soon after launch, Discovery One was a ship I designed in my early days of space engineers and was upgraded for the current mission." And that concludes our screenshots and stories. That was a massive backlog.
That was so many.
There are still so many pictures.
Mm-hmm.
There's still so many pictures. So we apologize that we didn't get all of your photos in. But post them in the screenshots and stories channel, and we'll get them.
I love to see them.
Yeah. Okay, now we need to talk about our gameplay for the week. So, Shalene, I went and did it. I bought
You
a Switch.
bought a Switch.
It happened.
It's lovely.
The story goes a little bit like this. I've been looking online to like see price comparisons and see if I could save a few bucks on a Switch. And turns out you can't. It's really hard. It's like Apple products. You basically can't get a deal on a Switch like ever. And I was looking on Walmart's website and I'm like, they have the Switch for like $420 Canadian. And it retails $449 here, right?
Right.
And I was like, can I get curbside pickup? And they were like, no, you've got to order it and it's going to come in like 2 weeks. And I was like, well, that's lame. And then I was like, wait a minute, Best Buy price matches. So on my lunch break, I zipped over to Best Buy and I was like in the store and I'm looking at the Switches and this girl comes up and she's like, can I help you? Obviously, a staff member, not just some random girl. Can I help you? And she comes up and she's like, can I help you? And I said, yeah, actually, I'm looking at getting a Switch. I said, but I'm on the fence about it because Walmart across the street, and I had done my research beforehand and learned that Best Buy will price match a big box store if they're within 25 kilometers of the location. So I had kind of dropped it. I'm like,
Yeah.
Walmart across the street is selling the same OLED Switch for $420, and I'm wondering if you will price match. And she's like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. And I was like, yes. Because
Nice.
the thing about Best Buy is that they will only price match if it says that it ship and sold by the company that is selling it. So shipped and sold by Walmart, shipped and sold by Amazon, that kind of thing.
Right.
But on the website, it said shipped and sold by Play 4 Canada or something. But she didn't see that. So we went over to the till and she grabbed an OLED Switch and she rang it through. And she's like, oh, yeah, I just got to get my manager to come over and approve this. And I'm like, crap. I'm like, the game is up, boys. like, get out. And the manager comes over, tap, 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 enter. Okay, thanks. And that was it. So, yeah. So I picked up an OLED Switch and, yeah, I got to say it's really nice. Like the screen is, it's bigger than the OG Nintendo Switch, right?
It really is, yeah.
It's really nice. The case that I ordered, like the travel case, came with this like plastic. I don't know if you can see it, but this plastic
Mm-hmm.
sort of case for it, which is actually really nice because it adds some definition to the handles. I don't know if you can see this sort of bump here.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're holding it, right, it gives your hands a little bit of
A little more grip.
yeah, yeah. It feels real sturdy, good quality. I'm pretty impressed with it. I liked that the packaging was super simple. Like it wasn't in this ginormous box. It was just in
Mm-hmm.
this tiny little box, you know. Not a lot of plastic and things like that. So, and it just feels good. But nothing is more satisfying than that click.
Yes.
There's nothing more satisfying than that click. But I gotta say though, there's a little bit there's a little bit of give in the
Yes.
Joy Cons that I'm
I find that as well. Yeah.
like, but that's just how it is because you know it's they're Joy Cons. They slide out. They're they're not permanently fixed in place. So yeah. So what else do I have? I made notes. Um, I would say that the UI is actually really good for Nintendo. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
nice. The accompanying app on the iPhone is really good. Um, and the family membership is absolutely awesome. I got the extended membership, so we have access to the NES, the SNES, the Game Boy Advance, N64, and the Genesis.
It's such a big library of
It's so
classic
good. It's
games.
so good. And at first, I was using the actual controller that the Joy-Cons slide into, but then I realized that I don't actually really like it. My
Mm-hmm.
hands tend to cramp up, and I actually like just sitting with the controllers with my arms, like, if I want to
Apart.
stretch my arms out, like I don't want to be sitting there like this all night. So it
Mm-hmm.
was kind of nice that I could just have my hands wherever. Um, yeah. So definitely like the Switch. Have been playing a lot of the old games. And just before I get into that, I do want to mention that I have been playing the American Truck Sim DLC for Oklahoma, which dropped on August 1st, which is actually really, really good. I had no idea that Oklahoma is like riddled with highway intersections.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like super dangerous. And as a virtual trucker, I'm concerned for my well being. It is not safe to do a left turn on a highway when everybody's doing 120 when you're hauling a big rig. Um,
Right.
so there's been instances in the DLC where I've been sitting there for like 5 or 10 minutes waiting to turn. And I'm thinking to myself, is this really what it's like in Oklahoma? Is this really what the
Probably,
highways are
yeah. I mean,
like? Like,
the
how
other
safe is that?
DLCs
Like, it's
have seemed
wild.
pretty accurate.
Yeah. So I'm like, if any of you are in Oklahoma and you're listening to the show, what are the highways like? Is it total chaos? Are there just intersections with people turning all over the place? No overpasses? I don't know. Um, anyways, going back to the Switch, I have 3 physical games. And let me tell you, Shaline, it is so nice to buy a physical copy of something once again.
Right.
It is so nice. The first 2 games that I bought them on Amazon. I got Super Mario Brothers Deluxe, which is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It's got new levels and new worlds and all kinds of new stuff with the same love and feel that I had with my Wii.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. So I've been making my way through Super Mario Brothers Deluxe, which is I just totally miss playing Mario games. I just love them so
Oh yeah,
much.
they're so good.
The other thing is The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, and I had made some notes on this. I don't know where they are though.
Breath of the Wild's a
It
masterpiece.
is so good. At first, I was kind of like, I don't know about these graphics, but now I'm like, I actually really love this like so much. It's so good. Um, I've gotten quite far actually in the Breath of the Wild. I did go and do like the I'm just pulling up my. It's been a while since I played it because Animal Crossing kind of took over
Taking over
everything.
your life, yeah.
Um, this is my first Zelda since the Ocarina of Time.
Wow.
on
It's been a minute
N64. So
then.
it's been a minute. But at first I was kind of like, what kind of intro is this? Like, I fired up the game and there was like no music, there was no real audio effects. And then I realized why. It's
Mm-hmm.
because the intro is actually meant to sort of hypersensitize you for when those large doors open and you experience the world for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It was awe inspiring.
It's
Yeah.
very much an emerging from the vault moment.
Yes, it was wonderful. And it did give me that feeling of Fallout. I did make my way down the hill from my little cocoon, whatever thing that I was sleeping in, and I ran into the first person in the game, which is like this old man, right? You know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, I had to stop at every little nook and cranny along the way, picking up mushrooms and apples and foraging, whacking bushes and climbing trees, and as you do. And then I made my way over to some red dudes, bokoblins,
The goblins, yeah.
bokoblins. Anyways, I destroyed them. No, I obliterated them with a
Obliterated.
single swing of my axe. It was
Ooh.
brilliant. I found some random axe lodged in a tree, and I just like pulled it out, and then I just chopped them. It was great. And then I went and visited the old man by the fire, and I accidentally ate his dinner. Uh, and he was like, "Hey, that's my baked apple." And I'm like, "Oh my god, I just ate this guy's dinner. He's gonna murder me over an apple." I've been in Zelda Hyrule for like 5 minutes, and I already have enemies. But then he was like, "Nah, it's okay. You can have it. I'm just pulling your leg. It's fine." It was so cute. And then I made my way down to what's it called? Times Square, the Temple of Time.
The Temple of Time. Times Square. That's
What's
what
it
I'm calling
called?
it now.
Temple
The
of
Temple of Time.
the Temple of Time. Anyways, I'm walking down, swinging my axe as I approach the Temple of Time, and I love the little detail in this in Breath of the Wild, because I'm swinging my axe, and then I realized that my axe was cutting the grass.
Uh-huh.
Well, Shaline, suddenly Zelda Breath of the Wild has turned into lawn mowing simulator, and I'm swinging and mowing all the grass around Times Square, and it was just like I totally forgot that I was playing Zelda. It was I don't even know.
That's
I'm so
wonderful.
embarrassed. Yeah, so I did check out the Temple of Time and forge some things, and I love that this game allows you to go to places that you shouldn't be. So like
Mm-hmm.
climbing mountains up to the top to like get to that one shrine that you probably shouldn't be doing quite yet, and then you just like die a million times, and you're like, "No, I'm going to get up there. Like I'm going to do this." I love the cooking. The cooking is so fun.
Oh, it is. And
I love
experimenting with
that
different
you can just
recipes.
open up your pockets and like grab a bunch of stuff and throw it into this skillet, and it bounces around all happy, making noise and clanging and things, and all of a sudden, poof, you've got this dish that's like sparkling and will give you warmth in -40. So good. I love it. Um, I actually made some pretty good progress in the game. So I've unlocked the towers.
All
No,
of them?
no, not all of them, but
Okay.
I've climbed various different towers to expand the map out.
Right.
And I've done quite a few shrines,
Mm-hmm.
and I've done my first divine beast. It was
Nice.
the beast of Repta or something, the giant elephant thing
Mm-hmm.
that's like raining on the Zora people.
Yes.
That was like awesome. That was definitely like I was totally into figuring that puzzle out, and I was up till like 3 in the morning trying to figure
Mm-hmm.
that out. Like it was like
It's
this
tricky.
so good. Yeah, I have visited a couple of the villages, Hateno
Mm-hmm.
and Kirioki, Kuriko,
Kakariko.
Kakariko. And I also have two horses.
Oh,
Yeah, I've
nice.
got two
You caught them?
horses. One is named Credo, like the coffee, and
Mm-hmm.
then the other is named, gosh, I can't remember now. Yeah, I tamed them. Yeah,
Lovely.
they're pretty, and I have them in the stables. They're really nice. Although I don't know, they must have the Tesla autopilot system in these horses because my horse is all over the place. It does not stay on the trail. Sometimes it's exactly on the trail and then it'll just like veer off into a tree. I don't know. So,
He's
um,
doing his best.
yeah, I don't understand. Is that like a if you have a bad relationship with your horse, it just kind of like veers off the trail or something or
I think it depends on like the quality of the horse that you have. So,
ah,
like how many stars your horse is.
okay.
So, because there are different levels of horse that you
That's
can
so
catch.
interesting. I thought that it was just a flawed game design, but it actually is like purpose
Yeah,
on
the horses
purpose.
are better when you get like a
So
better horse, but they're much
amazing.
harder to catch and tame.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my god, I met Hestu, and he
Ah,
really is.
Hesto!
He really is the best dude. He is the best. He's the best. I love him. I've been going around and collecting the Kuroku nuts for his maracas. And he was so happy that I got his maracas back for him. He was just like over the moon. You know, one thing about this version of Zelda is that I love the Japanese undertones.
Mm-hmm.
Like you go into a village and it has all of this like Japanese feel to it.
It does,
Um
yeah.
and that's something that I've never experienced in the N64 version of Zelda. N64
Mm-hmm.
version was very medieval, right?
Yes.
So and very sort of mythical and
Very
things like that.
European.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I love that about Breath of the Wild. Um, the story is super rich. I loved meeting the Zora people, and I loved finding out that I had a girlfriend in another life. Like,
Yes.
how great is that?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I
and
really liked learning the story about Mifa and Link.
yeah, Mifa is great. And the old guy who was like, "I don't trust you." I don't know. I'm like, no, I'm legit. I promise. I just been in sleep for 100 years. Sorry. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty good.
What did you think of Prince Sidon?
He's like, I don't know. He's such a, he's like, he's very like vain. Like
Yes.
his like, you know, I love that when they show him, it's like the camera pans to his face and he's smiling and there's like a little twinkle in his teeth, a little sparkle in his teeth. Like
I love
he's just
that.
like he's supposed to be this handsome prince, right? Like it's just so good. I was a little bit annoyed when he made me go the trail all the way to Zora and he didn't help me fight all the bad guys and he was just
Yeah, that was
down
a
in the
little rude.
creek like, "Oh, hey, it's glad to see you're not dead yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like keep
You're
going.
doing
You're
great.
almost there." How would you come up here and help me? Like I'm dying here.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely have died a lot. Yeah,
Yes.
died a lot. Yeah,
So we're
and
getting
those.
some reports in chat, Vendor, that it depends on how much your horse likes you.
See,
And
that's what I
they
thought.
recommend that you feed them apples. So I think you're right.
I
So
maybe I
they're
just need
supporting what
more.
you thought.
Yeah, need more
So be
apples.
nicer to your horse. Get that affection up.
Yeah. Um. What was I gonna say? Oh, those robot things, the ancient relic robot
The
things with the
guardians.
lasers. Those are no joke. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I killed one, but it was like an hour and a half process of me hiding behind a cement
Yeah.
column and like shooting arrows into its eyeball. Yeah.
If you can master the shield deflect thing, that helps an awful lot.
Yeah, I haven't got
I
that yet.
never did master that.
Haven't got that.
So
Oh, like just pulling your shield out.
yeah, and with the perfect timing, you
Yeah.
can deflect.
Yeah.
But I'm bad at timing. So
Yeah. Anyways, Breath of the Wild is great. I hopped back into it yesterday. No, today? Yesterday. Um and I met what's the scientist's name? Swan? What's her name? It's
uh
not Swan, it's
Kira?
Pura. Oh my god. She's like I love it. It's like she's like the anime version of like I don't know.
Kira
She's
is
like
so
there
great.
with her little dress and all cute and stuff and yeah, I enjoyed that. Yeah. So, more on that. Uh and then I've been making my way through Super Mario Brothers 3
Mm-hmm.
on the NES. Super Mario 3
A
was
classic,
one of my favorites. It's actually the one that I kind of grew up with. I also grew up
right?
with the OG Super Mario. I never really grew up with Super Mario Brothers 2. My aunt and uncle had an NES and they had Super Mario Brothers 2. That's the one with the turnips. Do you
Yes.
remember? And you
I've seen the turnip one. I don't think I've ever played the turnip
yeah,
one.
or they're like beets or something. I don't know. That one is really weird. It's really
Mm-hmm.
weird, but it's definitely worth a playthrough because it's a totally different Super Mario Brothers, like that you're
Mm-hmm.
used to with the breaking of the blocks and things. Like, yeah. But I've been making my way through Super Mario Brothers 3, and I totally forgot how unforgiving that game is. It's
Mm-hmm.
super nice on the Switch because you can create a preset like a save game,
Yes.
and then you can just load
The
it when you
save state.
die so you don't actually lose your progress. But I've died hundreds of times,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so funny because when I'm playing through a lot of those levels, I'm dying at places that I used to die at all the time when
Yes,
I was younger,
that is
right?
so
Like
funny.
I'm just like, oh, this one turtle every time gets me. Like it's just every time. It's so painful. Or like I'll be going through a level and I'll be like, "Oh, I remembered this. This is that part where you have to like run and jump and like you can't just jump from the edge, like you're not going to make it, right?" It's so good. Yeah. And the little secrets, all the little
Mm-hmm.
secrets. Yeah. Very good.
So
Okay,
good.
now we need to talk about the game that has taken over my life, and that is Animal Crossing New Horizons. And it's totally your fault.
Yes.
Completely your fault. You've ruined my life. I don't know. Animal Crossing New Horizons is so good. I got my island. It's a nice island. Yeah, it's pretty good. Um, my character's name is Vendor. So if anybody's listening and you want to add me on Switch to come visit my island, you can always do that. But it was really nice. Jess hopped into Animal Crossing with me, I think, the first night because you were feeling under the weather, Shaline.
Mm-hmm.
And she gifted me a bunch of stuff. I went and visited her island, and I bought some stuff at her shop. And it's so cute. I don't even know where to begin. I forgot that I have notes and I have to keep on track here. Okay, so my island's name is Turtle Island.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit of an ode to like Canada's first people and first
Yes.
peoples
Turtle Island.
of America. Um, and I have a tent that's right by the beach. And as soon as I got in, I weeded everything. Like I weeded the whole island. I could not stand that there was all these weeds. So my island is completely barren of weeds. I made an umbrella that was like a leaf umbrella. It was super cute. But then I gifted it to Plucky. Plucky is a resident on my island who is a chicken. And I wasn't sure about her at the start, but now she's kind of growing on me. At first, she was kind of rude. Like, I would go talk to her and she'd be like, "Oh, you again? Well, how come you're talking to me? Like, this island is not big enough for the both of us. Maybe we should, like, get a bigger island." And I was like, "Geez, you're kind of bee. You're kind of a bee." I also have a hippo named Biff, and he's, like, super into the gym and, like, working out. He's really cute. Um, I have this gifting standoff between him and I where like I had said with the screenshots and stories, I gifted him a hat, gave me an ice shaver, and then he gave me another hat, and now I've given him a sweater, and then I think today he gave me like a parka and I gave him an electronics kit. Like it's just endless gift giving. So good. I caught some fish on my first day. I was already branded a researcher already. I loved it. Um, and this was because of the beetle story. So I captured a beetle and I went and talked to Tom Nook and he's like, "Oh, blah 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 blah, and you turn this in and we're gonna give it to our friend Blathers, who's over on another island right now, but he's gonna be here soon." And like, yeah, so you're already filling the researcher hat, and I'm like, yes, I love this. I got stung by a bee on my first day collecting
Mm-hmm.
wood, which was terrible. And I love that Blathers actually is like the one person that takes your bugs, but he hates them.
He hates them so
I
much.
love that he hates the bugs. Like it's so funny. But
Mm-hmm.
he gets really excited about the fossils and the
He
art.
does, yeah.
Yeah. He's a little bit pretentious. I kind of like it. Day 2. I love how the days start with Tom Nook, but it's like this like upbeat, ominous kind of music. Dun 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 dun. And it's like, oh God, what's Tom gonna say today? Like, I just never know. And this is literally how I start my day now. I cannot start my day without first logging into Animal Crossing over coffee and seeing what Tom Nook
Yes.
has to say. It's so
Yeah.
dangerous. Yeah.
We've got you.
Anyways, I got my first piece of mail. It was from Mom, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was. I don't know how I feel about getting mail from my mother, because if you know my mother in real life, you know that she's a bit overbearing. So she's crossed the virtual divide into my own game space, and I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah. Um. Yeah. What else? We got the proposed land use rezoning application approved for the museum, and the museum is built, so that was good. I
Yeah, I know you
visited.
were worried that Plucky was going to write a letter of protest to the zoning
Yeah,
committee.
I kind of thought that she
Eh.
was going to protest it, but I don't know why, because it's completely on the opposite island side of the island from her house. So, I visited Jess's island, and it's amazing. She has flowers everywhere. Um,
He's so organized.
it's so carefully planned
It's
out.
really impressive.
Yes. I learned some lucrative ways to make bells. Wasps are 2,500 bells a piece. Emperor butterflies are 4,000 a piece.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also these bell trees, right? You get the little
Yes.
golden light in the ground. You dig up the bells, and then you put 10,000 bells back in the ground, and it grows a tree with 30,000 bells. That's great. You taught me that one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward um, to making more bells. I sold and I cornered the stock market this week already in my first week.
Oh,
Oh yeah. Yeah. I bought turnips on Sunday last week, or at the beginning of the week, and I was like religiously checking the turnip prices. I was so stressed out, Shaline. And then on Thursday the price shot up to like 190 some bells, and I bought in
mm-hmm.
at 90. So I made 30,000 bells, which was
Wonderful.
pretty great. Yeah. It basically doubled my investment. So, and then some drunk guy washed up on my beach. His name is Gulliver.
I
And he
love
was like, "What?
Gulliver.
What's going on?" And he's like, "Oh my God, my phone's not working. Can you help me fix it?" And then I had to go find all of the pieces of the things, and yeah, that was fun. And then he sent me, what did he send me? A director's chair in the mail.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I visited your island, which is
Mm-hmm.
lovely. It's absolutely covered in tulips, which is great.
It's chaos. It's
I
chaotic
need to come and
tulips.
pick some tulips because I have a recipe that
Yes.
I need 5 tulips for.
Well,
So,
I know where you can find
yeah,
5,000
yeah.
tulips.
Um, Shalene's island is amazing, you guys. Her house is so good. It's so amazing. She has this ginormous seashell room, and it's like it's walking into an ocean. It's so close to the Little Mermaid. I don't even know. It's so good. And then as you enter the house, there's like this beautiful bamboo room with like incense and plants, and it's all serene. And she's got a fruit room. The fruit room is a little bit strange. Yeah. The Apple TV. Is it an Apple TV? Is
It
that
is
what
an
it?
Apple TV.
Yeah. I love that. It's kind of like a jab to Apple, right?
It is,
Yeah.
yes. So
Um
cute.
and then this baby peach. This baby in a peach.
Yeah,
She's
it's a
got this
little
peach.
peach.
She's got this giant peach in the middle of the room, and you walk up to it and you open it, and a baby pops out. Like it's,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's
Like a
just
Jack in the Box, but
yeah.
it's a baby.
Um, and then she has this gold room at the top floor, of course, because where
Mm-hmm.
else would you have a gold room?
Plainly.
Um, and it's covered in gold. Everything is gold. It's so ostentatious. I love it. It's like nothing succeeds like excess. Okay. Um, and she has this bell mat over in the corner, and she's like, "Oh, that's where I put all my turnips when I when it's yeah." So that was actually a pretty good idea. Yeah, I might have to steal that. And then the basement. She's got a basement oasis, and I love the basement oasis. I think that's my favorite room.
Yeah,
It's
it's like
I
a
it's
fairy
like
forest.
yeah, it's like the most understated room in the house. You think that like the extravagant gold room or the the flamboyant seashell room would be really sort of what people would gravitate to, but I really like this basement oasis that you have. Um, yeah.
Well, thank you. It was fun having you over.
The last couple things that I'll say about Animal Crossing and then I'll hand it over is that now that my museum is open, I love Blathers. He's so cute. Um, and he's a hoot. I haven't got my cafe yet, but I did go to the butterfly room and I did walk around the museum, and I love museums in real life. Like I just love
Mm-hmm.
museums. And this is probably the best video game museum ever designed in my opinion. Like there's some pretty good museums in like Fallout 4 and Fallout 76 and I don't know, The Division maybe?
The Division had a great museum.
But this is I think this one takes the cake. Like the layout
I
is so
agree.
good and it's like there's ambiance, it feels like you're in a museum, you can read all the plaques.
You can read all the placards, and they all have actual, real information about all the
Yes.
creatures.
So good. So good. So I'm really enjoying collecting all of the pieces for the museum. I'm actually really excited to finish the art room, but I know that that's going to take a long time.
Mm-hmm.
The fossil room is really great as well, and the fish room is pretty cool, but right now it's pretty empty. I got to do some fishing. I love that Timmy and Tommy's shop has opened now, and when you first go in for the first time or like the first little while, they're like super keen to make sales and they like follow you around the store.
Yes.
It's so cute. My first purchase ever at their store was an espresso machine, and I was over the moon about this because I have an
He's pointing
espresso
to
machine.
yes. Mm-hmm.
So this was like huge. I was like, oh my god, they have an espresso machine on my first day in the shop. It's like this. It's like they know. It's like they know.
Mm-hmm. It was
Um,
Providence.
so I bought that, and it was good. I got some wallpapers, and yeah, hopefully the shop will be remodeled soon. But right now it's just a shack. And I built my house. It's still a bit, um, pieces everywhere and things like that. But I'm a bit of a plant dad, so I have plants everywhere. And you have to come see it. It's changed since you've been in, but I
Really?
have this like bath oasis now, and it's so good.
With
I
the bathtub you bought at my
It
store?
was the bath that I bought at your store. It was so good. Yeah. I also have a bidet, which is like everybody remarks on the bidet because I actually like to use a bidet in real life. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and like once you have a bidet, you can never go back. And it was just so good that I have this bidet. Yeah. And then Jess sent over a pizza oven, and the pizza oven's really cool. You can open it up, and there's little pizza inside, some coals and stuff.
So cute.
Yeah. Anyways, that's my AC gameplay. That's my gameplay. And it's been a lot. Like this thing has taken over my life, and I've got deadlines to meet for the end of this month, and it's actually been really nice to be like sitting here working, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, it's 10 o'clock. I'm gonna take a 5 minute break. Bloop.
Do, 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 do,
Yeah.
do.
Oh, 5 minutes is up. Okay, let's go back to work. So it's really nice to kind of like give myself a little bit of a mental reprieve from what I'm
Right.
doing because writing, scientific writing is,
Oh, it's intense.
yeah.
It's
Anyways, what
intense.
have you been up to, Shalene?
Well, you guys have fully reawakened my obsession with Animal Crossing.
Yes.
Yes. You added me to a group chat with you and Kern Jess and 4 Mile, and it is the Animal Crossing group chat. And you've fully gotten me sucked back in. I'm playing till late at night and getting up and playing before I get ready for work, and it's ridiculous. And that one night we played together, all four of us, and it was pretty much the best day of my life. I was having such a good time. It was the best. We ran around on Jess's island, we ran around on my island. It was brilliant.
I
I was
love
so
that
happy.
she was getting so excited that Archon was like, hey, can you like keep it down?
Yes, he was on the other side of the room playing Dead by Daylight with Tim and the rest of the hooligans, and they could hear me because I was too excited. So I was too loud, and I
the
was
shrieking,
interrupting their
the
call.
shrieking of
Yes.
Shalene across the room over Animal Crossing.
I was so embarrassed. I was. I was very sorry. Um, I am on a quest to try and finish up my museum. And right now I am down to two beetles that I need. I need a horned atlas, I think. Uh, and I need a scarab. So the scarab only comes
Oh,
out between 11 p.m. and 8 a.m. So they're pretty rare, the two that I need. And I've spent a lot of time looking for beetles. A lot of time.
I'll keep my eye out.
Yeah. And I got the golden slingshot. This is the first time I've ever had a golden tool in Animal Crossing. And
Is that like a
it
thing?
was, yeah, golden tools are the ultimate
Because they don't
reward that you
break? Is
get.
that
Yeah.
why? Or
They break much slower. I believe they do eventually break, but it's ridiculously slow.
okay.
And my golden slingshot recipe was in a balloon appropriately. So it was a balloon gift. I
The
shot it
balloon
down and
presents are my most favorite
aren't they
thing.
fun?
They
Aren't
are
they
my
fun?
favorite. I forgot to mention that, but yes, that
Mm-hmm.
is my favorite thing.
So yeah, I got that recipe and was very, very excited. Um, I went to this island. I just went to a random island with the tortoise. And I love that he sings you sea shanties. I think it's
I
just
haven't
so
had the
fun.
tortoise yet. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he sings you sea
That's the guy in the little
shanties.
steelcraft boat?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
And he took me to this island where it was autumn. And I was pretty excited about that because autumn's my favorite season in real life.
Okay.
So I was just glorying in the trees, the leaves had changed and I was so happy. And then I thought, you know what? I only need one diving creature and it's an autumn creature. It's an autumn season creature.
Okay.
So I jumped in the water and sure enough, after like two diving creatures, I caught it. So
Yes.
I completed my diving creatures collection. And Blathers got so excited when I brought it back. And he's like, I'm going to print up a poster. So he made me a poster of the diving creatures.
Those are it's like the brown paper posters
Mm-hmm.
with the
Mm-hmm.
monotone ink. Yeah, those are beautiful.
Yes.
I love them. Yeah.
And I've been working on developing Harv's Island, which I thought was a useless place until on first off on GameStack, Sherry told me that you could get Katrina the fortune teller there. And then later, Jess told me that you could get all of these vendors there, Leaf and Sahara and Red, the art guy.
So
And
how do you do that?
I'm not sure what starts it. I think you just have to visit his island a few times. And then you go back and talk to him, and he opens up the back section of his island, and it puts some of those little collector gyroids that collect donations, and each vendor costs 100,000 bells. Which for me
To
at
get them
this
there
point,
permanently?
yeah, to get them there
That's
permanently,
he. I wonder if you can get the art guy there permanently.
you can. Yes. And for me at this point in the game, 100,000 bells is child's play. That's
Chicken change. Yeah.
yeah. I am the Bill Gates of Animal Crossing. So I've
uh,
been visiting the island every day and fully funding a new vendor each day. And it's been so fun having Katrina the fortune telling cat and buying out Sahara's stock and Tortimer, the old tortoise. I love him. And there's a little poodle that braids your hair. She'll cut your hair. She gives you new haircut options. Some of them are really cute. And yeah, just the alpacas are there. I forget their names. I'm so bad at names, but it's just fantastic having all these vendors there all the time on demand. It's beautiful.
I'm gonna have to.
The
Oh, but I can't visit Harv's Island in your map, right? It's got to be my own.
I think that is correct.
Yeah, I can go
So,
to your stores on your
mhm.
island, but I can't go with you to Harv's.
But the
Yeah.
most recent one that I funded that will open tomorrow is a perfectly legitimate art dealer is
Hmm.
what they titled it. A legitimate art dealer.
Hmm.
So
Mm.
I think we all know who
Mm.
that's going to
We
be.
all know. Yeah.
So by the way, yesterday at your island, Red the art ship was there, and I bought The Starry Night by Vincent Van Gogh. and it appears to be a legitimate Starry Night by
Yes.
Vincent van Gogh. I already had one in my island. So in the museum.
Can I
Do
have
you
it?
want me to mail it to you?
Yes.
Okay, I'll mail it to you after the show.
Yes. Oh, this is the best day ever.
Yes, so my Animal Crossing obsession is fully reawakened.
It's so bad.
Um,
Like this game caters to completionists like you wouldn't believe. It's unreal. It's unreal.
oh,
Hmm.
it's so fun.
I went to Harv's Island. I'm convinced that Harv is a digital reincarnation of John Lennon.
Hmm. I think he's more of Tommy Chong, but
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can
yeah,
see
yeah.
John Lennon
It's
as
the red
well.
bandana, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
so
yeah, I
good.
always felt like Harv the dog was Tommy Chong, and Pascal the otter was Cheech Marin. So
Yeah, yeah. Oh gosh. Oh, I forgot to tell you my new residence arrived. Apple.
ooh,
I've got Apple, who is a little
Apple is
hamster, and
such a
she's such
cutie.
a ball of energy. She's so excited all the time, and she just wants to like. She's so excited. And I also have Anchovy, who's a sparrow,
Mhm.
and I went into his house today, and he was like, "Oh, I'm not ready for company. Like this place is a mess. Like you're gonna have to go." And I was like, "Okay, I'll come back tomorrow." So
The little
Celia,
hamster villagers are some of my faves.
yeah, Celia's moving in tomorrow, so I'm excited to meet her,
Mm.
and that'll put me at 5. Yeah.
I
So
have some bitter disappointment regarding residents. So you'll recall that I talked in the group chat about Cookie the dog and how she
yes.
wanted to leave the island and expand her circumstances. And I was like, okay, Cookie, you chase your dreams and I'll support you. And she left, and somebody bought her house, the property for her house, and it was someone named Violet. And I was like, who is Violet? I don't remember Violet. So I Googled Violet, and she's one of the gorillas with the bare butts. And I'm furious. I'm livid. Just like,
Why?
I hate them. I hate the gorillas and their bare
Why?
butts.
Why?
I hate them so much. Louis was one of my first villagers, and the I got rid of him at the first opportunity. I think I bought amiibo cards just so I could get rid of him.
Really?
I hated him that much. I hate the gorillas.
Oh.
Yes. I'm like an Animal Crossing racist against the gorillas. It's
Okay. Okay. It's fine.
yeah. So I was furious that I let Cookie go, and now I'm getting
Right.
a stupid gorilla with her stupid bottom.
Well, maybe she'll turn out to surprise you in ways that you never
Yes.
expected. Maybe you can give her some pants.
We'll give it a try. We'll
Yeah,
sure
give
give
her
it a
some
try.
pants and it'll cover
Yeah.
up. Yeah. Yeah. Gosh.
I have played some more Tears of the Kingdom, which is really funny that you're playing Breath of the Wild and I'm on Tears of the Kingdom, and like comparing and contrasting. I also hung out with Prince Sidon.
Okay. Okay.
He's still my favorite. I love him. He still does the twinkly tooth smile. Um, and I don't know if you've reached the point yet, and this would be a very light spoiler, I guess, but you can buy a house in Hateno Village.
Yeah, I don't have my house yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can get a house there. And I did all the upgrades for the house in Breath of the Wild, and I was really excited about it. And I expected to still have my house in Tears of the Kingdom because they kept my horses from Breath of the Wild.
Oh, really?
So I thought that I'd still have my house. And I got there, and everybody acted like I didn't have a house there. And I was really confused. And so finally I went back and found it. I found my house in Hateno Village. It's definitely changed from Breath of the Wild, the whole village. So it took me a minute to find my
Okay.
house. And Zelda moved in. She's living in my Hateno Village house, and she changed everything. I had a bunch of weapon stands on the walls. Now it's like pictures of Zelda and her friends.
So vain. Exactly what you would
Yes.
expect of a princess.
And I was like, you've got a whole castle. I can't even have my house.
This
Um,
is just her home for when she visits, right?
yes.
Yeah.
But there are still some of Link's possessions in there, indicating that maybe they're living there together. Ooh,
Common
scandalous.
law.
Yes.
Interesting.
Mm.
Maybe you can like take her for all she's worth. Oh,
But yeah, I was so annoyed when I found out that Zelda has a whole entire castle and now she also has my house.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. Okay.
and of course I've been playing Fallout 76 now and again doing the homework, and I talked about my Wasteland Ninja Turtle experience hanging out with Arshin.
Yeah.
And there's this squirrel event right now. Do you remember the Boy Scouts thing? There was the tadpole scouts and the possum scouts. Well, now we're a squirrel scout.
Okay.
So we're doing challenges while wearing the squirrel backpack, and there's a squirrel uniform. And um, I have two more of those squirrel challenges to finish before the weekend is over.
Oh boy, you better get busy.
Mm-hmm. And there are these quests that I talked about last episode. They're the cost of doing business quests for Vinny Costa.
Okay.
And one of his caravanners, Rudy, was in need of help. So I went to talk to
Mm.
him, and he wanted to make the recipe for his grandma's pozole. And he's like, "Yeah, my abuela had this recipe, and I need you to gather up the ingredients for me." And I got really bugged with this quest because the ingredients were so weird. Like, so do you know what pozole is?
Yes.
Yes. It's hominy with like pork, sometimes chicken,
Hmm.
some chile, some spices, like, and the ingredients for Rudy's abuela's pozole were pork and beans and pinto beans. There was no corn. I expected I was going to have to go pick a bunch of corn for him, and there was no corn in this pozole. And there was some chile, and that was good, and some spices and some other things. But I was so annoyed that there was like all these beans in it. You don't put beans in pozole. What are you doing? And
Was there like radishes
I don't
or
think so. No, yeah, it was it
like
was just it was weird. It was so weird.
like bay leaves or anything?
The ingredients were so weird, and it made me so annoyed. And I thought, like, did you even Google pozole to see what goes in there? Or were you just like, oh yeah, them Mexicans eat beans? I don't, like, what are you doing, Bethesda? I don't
Okay.
know.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
I'm gonna
you're
make
gonna call
this.
it there.
I'm gonna make this now, and I'm gonna post it in the food stack channel, and it's gonna make you happy.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was real annoyed. I don't know. I took it too seriously, I guess, but it seemed so obvious that to make pozole, I would go pick some corn, right?
Yeah.
Like, but no, instead it was beans, and that seemed real dumb to me. Anyways, Dave the Diver, guys. That's Dave the Diver. Dave is so good. This is the best little game that I've played in so long. It's maybe the most fun, the most pure, unadulterated fun I have had with a video game, probably since the first time I picked up Overcooked.
Really?
Yes, it is joyful to play Dave the Diver. And it is this pixel art situation. You play as Dave, who is a very rotund professional diver, and he looks like a little black beach ball in his little wetsuit. So cute. And he gets so offended because he'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'm Dave. I'm a professional diver," and they'll be like, "Oh, I always figured a diver would be more athletic."
Yeah.
Dave was like offended. And there's really two main segments to the game. In the first part, you dive. Um, and it's sort of a roguelite experience because every time you dive, the blue hole is different where you dive. It's
Okay.
different creatures and a different setup, different scenery, different everything's different. Every time you dive, it's a little bit different. So you have a little harpoon, you can catch the fish, and I just got a gun, so I'm still fairly early on in the game. So I have a gun now to defend myself.
$26. Jeez.
Honestly, I support Dave the Diver. Also they sent me a code for this, so just to be 100% clear, they did send me a code for this, so I didn't pay for Dave the Diver. Um, and he loves to eat sushi, so he catches the fish, and the fish go to the sushi restaurant. The sushi restaurant doesn't have anybody to wait tables, so that's also Dave. And you have to serve the sushi to the people, and that's a little bit in the vein of Overcooked. You'll see
Really?
different
I'm just gonna
customers
like
wanting different dishes, and you have
throw
to
this up
serve
here.
them. You have to pour their green tea, and you have a an option to make Dave walk a little faster because he's not that fast. And he kind of waddles when you make him walk fast because he's fluffy and it's so cute. And the sushi chef, his name is Bancho, I think, and he looks like an action movie hero. He's like this huge muscular dude in sunglasses and like a bandana, and he looks like he could murder a bunch of bad guys. And he cooks sushi, and that's all he does. You have to do the rest of the restaurant operation yourself. And
I like that it's all pixel, but it's like
mhm,
some of it's actually really rendered
mhm.
really nicely.
I fell in love with this game immediately, Vendor. Like I had played for like a minute and I already knew that I adored Dave the
I'm
Diver.
gonna have to pick this up.
And there are some deep secrets. That's Bancho there on the right. Yeah. Um, there are some secrets in this. So um there is more to the story than meets the eye. And
Hmm.
I'm looking forward to
Mm.
discovering the rest of it.
Wow.
And that's what I've been playing.
Holy smokes. Okay,
That was a show,
that
huh?
was like a monster meaty show. So, yeah. Um I'm not going to like draw things out because I know that you know, our audio listeners listening after the fact are going to be like, "Is this over yet? Are they done now?" Like, Jesus. Um but that sounds like some pretty good gameplay. Yeah. Stay tuned for next Friday, another fabulous show of GameStack podcast right here on We Just Love Games Network. Don't forget, the show is sponsored by Oak and Crow Coffee. If you head on over to oakandcrow.com, you can pick up a bag of We Just Love Coffee blend, and $2 from every bag of that blend goes to the Children's Miracle Network. You can send us some mail if you got some questions or want to tell us a story about something and get our input. You can post that on the MailStack channel in our Discord, or you can send us an email at info@wejustlovegames.com. You can find us on social media at Twitter at We Just Love Games, Shaline at Shaline L, myself at Vendertron N. We're also on Facebook.com/slash We Just Love Games, Facebook.com/groups/slash We Just Love Games. On Discord, if you scroll down in our Twitch page, twitch.tv/We Just Love Games, there is a link to get into our chat after dark and Discord community. We record the show live every Friday at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time right here on twitch.tv/We Just Love Games. Thank you all for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Review the show on various podcast platforms that you listen to: YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher. No,
Stitcher is
Stitcher's
no
gone.
more.
Stitcher is
Yeah,
gone
Stitchers
now.
is already gone.
iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Thank you all for listening. And Shaline, what is our last word?
I hope you have the loveliest of all lovely days.
Good night, all.